well be surprised to see us in a completely empty studio without all our new shelves and furniture. But because of an industrial dispute here at Television Centre, we're not allowed to use them today, so that's why everywhere looks just a little bit bare.
Well, that may not be very comfortable for us. I don't think Goldie or Jack and Jill or the kittens mind at all.
Certainly not. And as for Maggie and Jim, well, they're on their usual level, so they're laughing.
Yes, what you're seeing is our studio as it appears in the new Blue Peter book, in the photograph which is in the article about how Blue Peter gets on the air, except that today we haven't got the floor painted white. Well, now that we haven't got our shelves and seating, it gives us an excellent chance to show you some of the things that you don't generally see in the studio because they're hidden by a huge white cloth which hangs all the way around the outside of the studio.
It's called a cyclorama, or just cyc for short, and it gives us a good plain background for our shelves when we've got them and for the interesting things that we bring into the studio to show you. You could imagine how messy all this background would look if we didn't have a cyc, so in fact it's a very, very useful thing.
Although the bare studio walls look a bit messy, all the things you see on them there are there for a very important reason. And up there through the glass is the control gallery where the producer and the director sit.
Should we give them away?
Yes, why not?
Over here, these rows of things that look like shelves, these are in fact seats, and these are used for programmes that have audiences, things like Star Turn or Record Breakers. They fold down and you can seat 320 people here.
And over there are all the doors that lead to all the storage rooms where things as cameras and technical equipment are kept. Also there's the makeup in there where we get our hair done. Whoops. And also there's the wardrobe where we change our clothes or put a costume on if we're going to dress up.
And there are all kinds of banks of switches and plugs because, of course, without the plugs, we wouldn't have any pictures at all because each of our studio cameras has a cable, rather like a giant version of a flex on a table lamp. And each cable has to be plugged into the electricity supply on the wall. So every camera cable ends up at a power point. And the cables also feed the electronic information to provide the picture as well as the electricity.
And our boom microphones, that's these huge pieces of equipment on the trolleys here. They too have to be connected in with cables and plugs, and all this cabling means that the movements for both the microphone booms and for the cameras have to be very, very carefully and precisely planned out beforehand. Otherwise, with all this cabling, you get it wrapped up round one another just like knitting needles.
Which is sometimes why we have to wear radio microphones like this, which is pinned on my shirt, which is connected to a small battery transistor which I keep in my back pocket or in a special pouch provided. Also, there's a little area which hangs off the back there, which is tucked in my trousers, which sometimes people see hanging off and they think it's something that's flapping behind them.
Something else you don't generally see on a normal Blue Peter is the studio lights. And there are 250 of them here in Studio 3. Now, you might well be wondering how on earth the bulbs get changed. Well, the answer is simple. They can all be brought down at the flick of a button. And if you wouldn't mind lowering them, Peter, we can have a look at that.
They can be lowered in sections, and when they're up in the roof, they're pointed into position by electricians using long poles. But as Sarah just said, in order to change their huge bulbs, they can be lowered right down to the floor if necessary, like this.
By the way, the floors here in Television Studio are sort of this dingy grey colour, which doesn't look very nice at all. In fact, it's made of a toughened lino, but the floor can be painted to suit all different kind of things for different kinds of shows. By the way, when we have our show, the floor is painted white to match the cyclorama. But you can have the floors painted like streets or a grand ballroom or even like your own tiled kitchen at home.
All the paint is soluble, and because of this we're able to wash it off at the end of each programme. That also means that we have to be very careful not to spill any liquids like coffee or tea, otherwise it would get washed off. Goldie, of course, isn't a problem because, as you well know, she's house trained. Well, now, having shown you around the studio, there is a chance that you'll be able to see lots of the photos that we've shown you in our new Blue Peter book. The other piece of news today is all about Tina, and would you believe it, she still hasn't had a baby yet.
Well, let's hope it won't be too long before all those lovely presents that you sent in will be put to good use. You'll probably remember that they included quite a few woolly balls, just like this one. And it's just about the simplest toy you can give a baby, and they're very easy to make too, but not for dogs, I assure you. You just cut out 2 small circles of cardboard like this and wind the wool through them, and when it's thick enough, cut around them.
But can you imagine what size woolly ball you'd end up with if you started out with 2 giant cardboard rings like this? Well, the answer's coming over now with its makers, who are Wendy and Andrea Turnham of Billingham.
Hello.
What's your girls?
Hello, girls. Welcome to Blue Peter. Come and sit down.
Now tell us, what gave you the idea to make such a giant?
We cleaned out the loft at home and we found a load of balls of wool and just a bit of cardboard.
And how long did it take you to make?
About a month.
And is it a record to have made a woolly ball this size, do you know?
We don't know yet. Not for sure.
You're not sure?
Well, I think it's a fantastic ball. Look at all the colours in it. It's tremendous.
It's wonderful. It's a lot heavier than it looks, isn't it?
Well, I hope that you do get in the record books. You certainly deserve to. And before you go, can we just have a go at rolling it and see if it will roll? If you hold on tight to Goldie, Sarah, we'll give it a whirl. There you go. It worked.
Thought Goldie was going to slide out the studio then. Well, it's just about 5:15 now, and I expect quite a few of you at home have popped on the kettle and having a nice cup of tea. But I can guarantee that their teapots aren't like this one. Yes, and it's another giant. It holds 32 litres, which is enough for 150 cups. And last week it was on exhibition in Frankfurt at a fair there, and it did very well. It's, I think it's lovely. It's silver plated. And if you can see around the front here, it's got a lovely floral design. And in Sheffield, where it was done, it took 12 people 2 weeks to make it.
And here's the giant cup and saucer that goes with it. And they and the spoon have been made by the same firm in Sheffield. And it makes you wonder what they're going to come up with next, doesn't it?
Well,
Look at that.
lovely. Now we've got the cup, I think I shall give the spout a test and see if it's a good pourer.
Good idea, Peter.
I hasten to add that it's not full. If it was, it would weigh 51 kilos. It would be far too heavy for me.
Even for you.
Oh, dear.
And it goes. Is that a bit hot?
It's a bit hot on the spout, yes.
Just as well this lid is hinged on.
There we go. It's
Look
about
at
50
that.
cups.
A jolly good pourer, I think. But the real test is surely what the tea tastes like. So, if I add some milk, just a drop, you note.
It's lucky I don't take sugar, really, isn't it?
Yeah, 6 lumps or 10. And give it a stir.
Right.
Now you can have a taste.
There we go.
Can you manage that? Ooh!
Oh, it's just like the BBC canteen, that is lovely.
Oh, what a shame. Well, I think we'll save the rest of that for Simon, don't you?
Thanks, Sarah. 1 sugar for me, please.